cum să ajung eu la înregistrările ăsta? Pentru că mai live, acum noi punem la pauză, iar stop blocat, asta e pauză.
Hai să-i joystick, nu?
Jos, da, joystick, da.
Gata, exit.
Așa, de asta spune iar stop blocat. Stop blocat, asta e oprire.
Pauză. Complete event.
Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, colleagues, friends. My name is Vitaly Morar, I represent Moldovan Technology Transfer Network, and we gathered all here in order to understand what is the meaning of the innovation in agriculture and what is the meaning of clusters in order to develop a knowledge-based society. I want to say that the fact that you gathered in such components here denote the fact that you understand this meaning already, and I am really grateful to all of the partners from the Danube region, to the coordinator of the project, to the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research, to all enterprises with innovative ideas which came here to present them. And I won't speak too much. I just want to say to welcome to the persons which are first time in the Republic of Moldova. And to all of you, I want to wish good luck, and I hope with all together we will make things and innovation to make happen. Thank you a lot. Right now I want to give the floor to Gilda Nicolaescu, which is the coordinator of the Danube S3 Cluster project, with a small speech.
For those of you that do not know me, I am coming from Romania, the South Muntenia Regional Development Agency, and we are coordinating the project Danube S3 Cluster. My speech will be about presenting the project and also the main goal and purpose of this meeting today. So if I can have the presentation, it would be good. And I think it would be better for me to just be in front of you because I like to move. I think it's easier for me to speak when... So we won't get bored. You know, what we want to do today is actually to give the floor to you, to participants from Moldova. We wanted through this project to put together at the same table people coming from SME sector, from research and research institutes and academia, together with public authorities and civil society, in order to brainstorm and think of projects, innovative projects to be funded on the thematic of open innovation for clusters. Okay, so, but now a few words about the project. Danube S3 Cluster is a project that is funded by the Danube Transnational Cooperation Program under the axis 1.1, an innovative and socially responsible Danube region. The project started last year in July, and it will end at the end of June 2021. As I told you, we are the lead partner. The consortium is quite big because there are 15 partners from 11 countries, so it's easier to say that we don't have partners from the Czech Republic and Austria. All the countries that are near on the Danube region are represented here. And the budget of the project is around 1.8 million euro. Here you can say the name of all the partners. We also have the opportunity to have associated strategic partners, and we in Moldova we have the Moldovan Academy of Science. In Romania, we have the Ministry of Economy. We have also the Ministry of Economy from Croatia. We have a Western cluster from Bosnia-Herzegovina. So the role of the associated partner is to support with knowledge and taking account of what we produce on this project. The idea of the project came through the need that we acknowledge the fact that level of innovation has an unbalanced distribution within the Danube region, because the countries that are located in the western part are much more innovative than those one in the eastern region. So we wanted actually to level by using a transfer of knowledge and know-how in the innovation ecosystem. So our main objective is actually to leverage the innovation-driven entrepreneurial ecosystem in the Danube region by developing smart and well-coordinated cluster policies, using the approach of smart specialization to enhance the innovation management knowledge and skills, and also to foster transnational cluster cooperation in agro-food, because our project is intended to enhance cooperation for clusters that are working in agro-food sector. This is why we are going to implement 5 pilot initiatives in 4 cross-cutting themes. We have developed 2 innovation assessment tools and delivered 3 training sessions, and we will develop a Danube S3 Cluster strategy and program, and also we will organize 2 brokerage events in order to enhance the access of clusters to the market. These are the, let's say, the pillars of our project. We will develop the strategy by understanding how is the regional ecosystem on cluster policies in each one of the partner regions. So each partner has already prepared an analysis on the cluster policies. So Vitalie and Nicu, they have prepared their analysis about Moldova. We also have developed and applied innovation audits for agro-food clusters, and we will develop business innovation training sessions. We will develop pilot initiatives, and after we have tested this, we will develop policy recommendations for the national authorities to take into consideration for the next programming period. These are the 4 work packages that are related to our technical work. So far we have developed under work package number 3 the transnational analysis, and we are today at activity 3.2, activation of the entrepreneurial discovery process. This is the 3rd entrepreneurial focus group. We have had one in March in Tuzla, in Bosnia-Herzegovina. In June, we had organized in Romania another one on healthy food, and today we are working on open innovation, and on October 23rd, we will organize another one in Odessa on market intelligence for clusters. The goal of this event is to work together in order to generate some project ideas that will be then translated into project ideas, so clusters can cooperate and work on a local action plan here in Moldova on the thematic of open innovation, and sign cooperation agreements either with other partners or clusters from Moldova, or with partners within the countries that are represented in the consortium. We will have also a new workshop on the strategy in June in Shavar, in Hungary, and then we will work, partners will work to draft an action plan that will translate the strategy into local activities. On work package number 4, we have developed 2 innovative assessment tools, one for cluster managers and one for cluster members. We have assessed the innovation need of clusters, and we are now in the process of preparing the transnational training program. And work package 5, we will organize two brokerage events in order to support the access of clusters to new markets. And we will organize also open forums in order to have a synergy with the ecosystem around the Danube. And as I told you before, we will have policy dialogue workshops. We will write based on our discussions that we will have with stakeholders and associated strategic partners. We will write policy recommendations, and we also are trying to design a coordinated agro-food cluster program. This will be probably the last slide where I will explain, because I don't want to bore you today. Actually, the goal is for people from the Republic of Moldova to work together, not listening the boring presentation. But I will just stop to this slide to tell you that the Entrepreneurial Discovery Focus Group are using the methodological approach that has been developed by the GRC, the Joint Center of Research Center, yes. They have a methodology on how to work on the Entrepreneurial Discovery Focus Group, and we are using this. You will see in the second part, and my colleague Emil Stanek from RUSE, he will deliver a presentation on how we are going to work on working groups. Here you can see the four thematics, as I was telling you before. We will work on market intelligence in cluster in Ukraine. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, our focus group was on the thematic on business models that work in the circular economy, in healthy food in Romania, and here in open innovation in clusters. And you can see also which are the partners that are going to prepare the local action plans. So in Ukraine, it will be on market intelligence, in Croatia and Serbia, the circular economy, in Slovakia, the healthy food, and in Moldova, open innovation. So I think that that's it for me right now. I have told you most of it. Just wanted to tell you that in terms of target group, we also wanted to ensure the composition of today. So our project is intended to also use the approach of the quadruple helix, which actually implies that we are trying to involve people, especially from the small and medium-sized enterprise, business support, organization clusters, higher education and research, regional public authorities, and civil society. These are the project outputs, and I'm very happy to say that we managed to perform 200 innovation audits of the agro-food clusters. And that was it. This is actually the presentation of the project, and I think now we will have the presentation of some best practices, and then Emil will speak about the methodology, will explain how we are going to work in working groups. So, thank you.
Right now we have the honor to have a representative from the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research with the presentation focused on smart specialization in the Republic of Moldova.
Hello, my name is Aliona Onofrei. I represent the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research. I'll speak about, I want to greet all the participants and the organizer of such important events in our country. I think such events is very important for our country because our purpose is to develop the strategy of smart specialization in the Republic of Moldova. I'll try to speak in English, but I prepare some in Romanian. I don't know, I will make a mix of some of them. Smart specialization is very important in the Republic of Moldova. Academy of Science began this process, but the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research just developed in a few years this concept. What is smart specialization? I think you know, it's a strategic approach to economic development through target support to research and innovation. Of course, smart specialization, it involves a process of developing a vision, a general vision through an entrepreneurial process of discovery. Why smart specialization is so important for the Republic of Moldova? I think it's not only for the Republic of Moldova. International experience shows us that smart specialization is a priority at international level. For example, Eastern Partnership make 2 deliverables for 2020, and they said that at least 2 countries will develop intelligent specialization strategy in this region. Of course, Danube countries have the same goals. The target object of the development of the research and innovation strategy, it's a target object for the Danube country. The smart specialization, it's a priorities for the field of research and innovation at the national level, but it's also a commitment under the National Action Plan for the implementation of the Republic of Moldova EU Association Agreement. We have a legal framework that permits our country to develop this strategy. In 2017, the ministry became the leader in the reforming process of research and innovation field. The Ministry of Education, Culture and Research have the goal to elaborate the national program in the field of research and innovation. This document already was adopted in 2019, and I think it's a great success for our country. Also, the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research is responsible for development of national roadmap for smart specialization in the Republic of Moldova. We don't have the concept of smart specialization in our national policy documents. But we want to have it, and that's why in the National Development Strategy Moldova 2030, we just insisted to have this concept, and in our national program in field of research and innovation, we also have the principle of smart specialization included in it. We don't have this concept, but we have just this idea in the main important policy documents in our country. I mean the National Development Strategy Moldova 2030, National Program for Research and Innovation, Regional Development, Urban Development, Industrial Policy, Education, and so on. Why smart specialization is so important? I think the figures show us that, for example, state of cluster are very developed in the Republic of Moldova. Innovation also, it's a high level. Of course, it is in 2016 we have a peer review of research and innovation field. Seven experts from the European unit made a peer review, and they ei au făcut un șir de recomandări. They made some recommendation for the research and innovation area. One of them is inclusion in the research and innovation policy in general strategy of economic development of the country. And the second one is reviewing as a matter of urgency the framework for innovation by implementing a coherent set of policy measures to stimulate a support of attractiveness environment for business and research and innovation. What was done in our country, it's first of all we have a S3 team. It's very important that we have settled this in the order of the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research. The second one is capacity building and training. This team have a lot of trainings in Kharkov, Sevilla, Brussels and so on. What was made by now, first of all, is mapping of economic, innovative and scientific potential in the Republic of Moldova. It's a very important study made by Hugo Hollanders. The second one is characterization of preliminary priorities area for smart specialization in Moldova by series academic. And the first national survey of innovation activities and enterprises in the Republic of Moldova. What are the main domains? It's first of all is chemical industries, materials and nanotechnology. The second is health, biomedicine and pharmaceuticals, agriculture and food processing, electric and electronic technology, energy, ICT, production technology and heavy machinery, environment industries, services and sciences. What we do now, the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research took the leading role in this process. We identify 4 priorities area and selected them and conducted in the period of December-June for entrepreneurial discovery process. Of course, the next ADP were included in the action plan of the National Research and Innovation Program, and we intend to do in the next year. At what stage we are now? I think we selected a limited number of priorities for national and regional development, and we intend to establish a suitable policy mixes. That's why I'm here to, I don't know, to see what are the results of your entrepreneurial discovery process, to see in agro-food what you intend to do, and we want to mix these 2 activities in one and to develop the strategy. Thank you very much.
Right now we have in the agenda our guest Daniel Copot with a presentation in what concerns the digitalization.
Yeah. I'm a little bit slow today. No, I just... I'm ready. Yeah, thanks. As usual. Hello to everybody. Can you start it? Excuse my voice. I'm a little bit tired today after enjoying cheese in our culinarics. So at least I have to say that you have a very good meal. So yes, it is really, yeah, it is perfect. So yesterday we had a presentation on digital innovation hubs and the way how we started to elaborate and implement this new concept. Today, I will, of course, I don't want to repeat myself from yesterday, but for those of you who are new today, maybe I do some basic descriptions. But anyhow, the topic of today is open innovation. So I will try to link the open innovation principle to a digital innovation hub principle, or the way how Europe is trying to address this. Hopefully I succeed at this. And it will be a little bit more technology just to have the insight into open innovation. First of all, I'm coming from ITC, it's Innovation Technology Cluster, from a small city, Murska Sobota. We have been established in 2011, coming from Slovenia, with 2 million population, with a very, let me say, fragmented agriculture, but with a huge potential, I would say, if you consider the cooperation and networking that we are trying to foster. What we were doing in the past, always, because it's a combination of agricultural experts and ICT experts, so we tend to believe that we want to make sectors smarter. So it's about smartification of sectors, meaning implication of IT technologies into different sectors, meaning that we have this multi-sectoral challenges and different knowledge and technologies coming together, which again means that we have to open and cooperate. And this is a background for open innovation, right? So we cover agriculture, food production, food and health, food safety, environment, water protection, and social innovation in this respect. Because innovation should be responsible. Giving you an example, if we do digital transformation of agriculture, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to produce more, but it has to be also meaning that you have to preserve the nature and all other aspects. It has to be social. Even applying new technology to other sectors, there is a danger that you apply something which is not socially acceptable, right? So that's or environmentally acceptable, of course. I was showing this slide yesterday, so maybe a little bit different aspect to that. So the point is that we need to produce more food with less resources, or at least with limited resources, which is a very challenging process. I said yesterday 70% more food until 2050. That's a prediction of there are some sources claiming that, and there are many ways. One of the possible ways is to digitalize the agriculture, so basically to implement new technologies to produce more. You know, also disruptive technologies, disruptive business models, like producing food from from the insects, which is I can tell you that these business models are even most are return on investment in agriculture. With those kind of business models started to be very appealing, because as you know, the crowdfunding and all those kind of investments were basically relying on IT, because the return on investment was like up to 3 years. And nobody was interested in investing in agriculture, where the return on investment, if you go into tomato production, there is 10 to 15 years of return on investment. So with those disruptive business models, this is changing. And the food production and agriculture has become also a very interesting topic for investors and for this investing potential. Okay, so we are attacked with new technologies. We are all speaking about Internet of Things, and of course the advancement is already there. So we are in the future, or now, we will be talking about Internet of Everything. So it's not only connecting if we start with mobility, we were connecting people, right? Then Internet of Things we meant, okay, we connect stuff, things that can communicate, like you can have autonomous driving with cars connecting and speaking to each other, right? But in the future, everything will be connected. So people and things will be connected. And this is just a matter of how many things are basically connected. It is estimated that until 2020 we will have 50 billion nodes, so nodes, either mobile phones, things will be communicating with each other. But the other important factor is that, according to, this was presented by PwC at the previous year, so 2018 Digital Innovation Hub annual event in Warsaw. It shows that 64% of CEOs believe that the technology will disrupt how they do business in the next 5 years, which is a huge, huge percentage. So technologies will basically disrupt the way how we do business. But not only doing business, also how we live, because it's a social change which is behind. So it is inevitably to believe that also agriculture will be there, although a very traditional sector, but it is coming and it will be coming. So you better embrace it in order to be more successful. One other very important, I would say, the definition of our development is basically was presented by Porter. That was already in 2014, and how interesting that he was using the example from agriculture in order to explain that the biggest winners of the transformational process, the digital transformation process, will be those who control platforms for managing business ecosystems. So, and this is proven to be very, very correct if you apply this to smart cities, for instance, where you will have probably a situation where, I don't know, 5 top companies will control how cities will be implemented. So the smartification of cities will basically rely on big platforms, right? In the agricultural ecosystem, you know, this evolution is presented here, coming from the product to, or if you can somehow compare this to Industry 4.0, which is a smart production, which we all somehow understand how it goes. In agriculture, I call it agriculture 4.0. We have come from the product, then we have smartified the product, like a tractor, we put some sensors on it. That's the next stage. The next stage is then the smart and connected product. So this product, this tractor is able to communicate with another device, like add-on device for manipulating the land. And then you could develop a product system. Well, in the future, and at this stage, I mean, there are not so many farmers that are able to benefit from, or that are able to handle this. One example would be, for instance, if you would have drones analyzing the surface, because I see the drone there, analyzing the surface, and then automatically applying data to be used by the tractor and the machine for the nutrification, you know, so that the parts where you need more nutrition will be more nutrition. Yeah. Or fertilization. So that is, for instance, one case. But the future is to control the system of systems. So you have many systems, and you also connect these systems with the third-party system. So you don't have to have a weather station on your field. You can use data. It's data cubes, using big data, managing big data, and applying this into the system into your farm system, let me say. So this is the future. Okay, what is open innovation has to do with this? Well, I have been looking yesterday for a decent, because I'm not really an open innovation expert, but it's not really difficult to dig in. So I have found this, I would say even the only definition of open innovation. One might say that open innovation is something, wow, you know, big, and how do we address this, but it's really very simple. So, according to Chesbrough, open innovation is a paradigm that assumes that firms can and should use external ideas as well as internal ideas. So it's a combination. You have to open your system and get ideas from outside in order to come up with innovation, with new products, new business models, new solutions, right? So, open innovation combines internal and external ideas into architectures and systems whose requirements are defined by a business model. And I would extrapolate this not only to, because I don't really like this this definition because of the fact that it's not only ideas, but it's platforms. You know, now you have these centralized platforms that you have to use. If you take a look at blockchain, it's a system beneath that you don't go into, but you have to use it in order to develop new business models and new products. So I think that this is outdated by far. So in order to visualize this process, you have this closed innovation, which is easy to handle. That was done in the past. I was also in the company which we were doing it like that. And then open innovation, where you have like innovation, information, ideas flowing from also outside through external collaborators or outsourced groups or markets. So working together with the market or with the target groups, with your customers is nowadays a must. Okay, there are some challenges. Of course, this is not so easy. You can do it methodologically or non-methodologically. I mean, we can lead this open innovation approach, not necessarily that we develop methodologies. For instance, hackathon is, at least in the blockchain, was somehow came up as a very nice approach in open innovation, where you have a problem, you assign a competition, you give a reward to a winning team, and then you call the teams to find a solution to your problem. It can be a business modeling, it can be a new product, and this was really, hackathons are organized all over the world when it comes to blockchain solutions and so on. And let me tell you that I can really know only few really successful examples of blockchain being implemented in the real world. I mean, there are some cases, but the real implementation of blockchain is very difficult. I can explain you in agriculture why it is so difficult. Okay, so open innovation. When it started? It started in the 17th century with a competition which was started by a group of six big companies in the marine, so in the sailing. They wanted to find a way how to navigate on the sea much more efficiently. And even Galileo Galilei was competing there. Unfortunately, they didn't find a solution then, but the solution was found by the Swiss, by the English watch producer. So that was believed to be the first case of open innovation, where somebody started a competition and said, hey, let's bring in some people, let's collaborate, and let's find a solution to our problem. From then, of course, we had development in many different directions, methodological, non-methodological cases of open innovation, but definitely what's happening is that open innovation is basically driving social changes, and that is happening very fast. For instance, some examples of what we have, and we have been discussing this yesterday with Clementine and with other people, how this is done and what is the negative impact of that. So you all probably remember mobile telephony. I don't know how many of you have does remember in 1973 the mobile phone. It was 1G analog cellular with this brick. It was in 1973. It took 20 years, even more than 20 years, that the mobile phone penetration reached 5%. You know, so, and from then on, you have applications, you have SMS, you have smartphones nowadays. You know, you have the whole bunch of, I mean, the underlying technology is there, and you are able to build business models on top of it. Then blockchain is very interesting, but you know how it all started. You remember probably how we downloaded music, right? So it was a peer-to-peer downloading. Don't look at me, you don't remember. So you had to go to a certain page and you download MP3, or that was not even MP3, you downloaded this music. And then, of course, somebody smart came up and said, hey, why don't we distribute the source, right? So that you can download wherever, and it's a distributed source. So because the problem was that if you downloaded this music, somebody said, hey, stop. You don't do that because of the license issues, right? So that page was, of course, cancelled. Now they came up with a current approach where you have a distributed source, so you cannot find the source and the story, right? And that what was the basic implication of that approach? Was basically that music industry started to develop another business model behind. So it's immediate impact on how we do business. And then, of course, blockchain, which now this year we are celebrating 10th anniversary of which is the Bitcoin. Sorry, Bitcoin. It's 10th anniversary. Now we expect that, of course, Bitcoin and blockchain will solve all our problems. It's only 10 years. I remember the story about mobile phones. You know? So, but there is, of course, if you imagine the extent of what kind of possibilities, and of course, open innovation is about cooperation, creating new possibilities and solving new problems, is being delivered through blockchain, and basically a Web 3.0 is being developed. You remember Web 1.0 where you could only read from the internet, right? With 2.0 you could read and write, but with 3.0 you can even execute. So you don't need a chain of intermediates to do something. You don't have to go to a notary office to sign papers. Of course you do now, because there are only legal and law issues with that. But in the future, you could execute everything through internet. Again, total disruptive way of how we do business, how we live, how we develop business models. And agriculture is not, of course, exemption. Let me tell you, if you say, now we are solving a problem of frauds in agriculture. So you have a short supply chain, and I tell you, we are delivering to Slovenian local products. Then I have a farmer whose capacity for breeding, for producing tomato is 1 ton. But we know that he's selling 5 tons. So he is reselling, right? He's buying tomato. If you go to Italian markets, and you can see Italian products there on the Italian border, imported from Italy. In order to solve this problem, you don't do blockchain on a single short supply chain, you don't solve anything. You need to have a system. All supply chains have to be connected and exchanging data, even third-party data, like earth observation data, determining who can produce what. So you can see that that was a business model that didn't exist. Now it exists if you want to prevent this. So, anyway, Digital Innovation Hub, what we do, we have Digital Innovation Hub Agri-Food. I won't repeat a lot. You can contact me if you want to find more. I have only how many minutes? I'm already got done.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do digital transformation, short supply chains gastronomy because of the specificities in Slovenian agriculture, and this is the services we provide. So for the next, let me say, work group session or whatever, I mean the workshop, we will probably be working on Digital Innovation Hub infrastructure.
One will be on digital innovation hubs in agriculture, and the second one is sharing technology transfer in agriculture.
Yes. So how to wrap this up? We have this service portfolio. According to EU delegate, you can have like 12 to 15 type of services around digital innovation hubs. In order to be concrete, we came up with 7 which we are running. And you see that the technology transfer, so innovation scouting, the technology transfer is a very important one. Meaning that we say that there is a technology for every problem. The problem is how you find it, how you transfer it, how you implement it, and if it makes sense, financially or otherwise. So there is a challenge. And we don't necessarily do, Europe is having a huge amount of innovations in their drawers, somewhere. It's not only universities, it's also SME startups and so on. So now it's time to find a way how to implement that, right? The challenge in agriculture and agri-food is not, let's say, blockchain. The challenge is how you apply it in order to make sense, because in most cases you don't need it. Okay, so this is from my side. I will just go down, and thank you for your attention. Yes?
Excuse me. Excuse me, Mr. Daniel. I would like to have more examples on blockchains because for better understanding. If you could give attention on that.
Okay.
What does it mean and how?
Yeah, would you like to now or later? Okay, I'm not
During the coffee break.
No, I think that if you have a sign up for the group that is about digital innovation hubs in agriculture, Daniel will be on that group, and because after the coffee break we will just have a brief presentation on the methodology, and we will split into 2 separate rooms where a group will discuss about digital innovation hubs in agriculture, and there with a smaller group of people you could, let's say, go in deep about this and then create some project ideas on that thematic. So would it be okay? And also you have the coffee break where you can pick his brain and yeah?
So,
and thank you, Daniel, for a very inspirational.
No problem. But there are a few examples, but everybody expects that blockchain will solve everything, but in fact, in real life, currently it's used for product placement, so that somebody can scan a QR code and see where the product, what is the product origin. But this can be this fraud can happen because you cannot control the input. So who is providing the input? So you are scanning that you are buying tomato from this local producer, but the tomatoes is imported from the producer. Blockchain will not solve this if you don't solve the whole problem with all those farmers having the control and also controlling the whole value chain, the whole distribution chain, and other distribution chain. Then this is the only reason why you should apply blockchain. Otherwise, you don't need the blockchain. Even product placement, you don't need blockchain for product placement. There are other solutions which are much simpler. So it's a big word, but very few implementations. Still.
It's limits.
Definitely.
Any new concept. And the smart specialization has its limits. So.
Global gap.
So partly I answer.
So.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, right now, thank you, Daniel, a lot for a very comprehensive presentation. Right now, we invite Valery Senik with a presentation with drones in
Best practice.
best practice. Yes, but 1 second, just to push the button. Did I push it? Why? Ah. No.
Hello, my name is Rețeaua. Sorry, my English not good. Presentation in Romanian.
But I will translate for the partner, so don't worry.
Sunt lector la Cooperarea agrară, plus sunt mentor în cadrul proiectului Educație pentru drone, unde pregătim cadre în
Okay. So I'm a lecturer at the Agrar University, and I'm also acting as a coach to a project education for drones.
După cum tehnologia niciodată se regăsează în toate domeniile. studiile făcute de multe cercetări ne arată că până în anul 2030, adică în jur de 11 ani, practic toate specialitățile vor deveni specialități mai noi, mai moderne.
So as we know, the technology it advances very well. So all the studies that have done so far, also in agriculture, shows that by 2030 all the specialities will have to evolve a lot.
Practic, în toată inovațiile de azi se aplică tehnologii moderne în domeniul agricol, ce ține de determinarea diferitor indici agrochimici ai solului și al culturilor.
So today we are using new technologies in agriculture, and they are mostly linked to determine some indicators of the soil, chemical indicators.
În procesul de trecere a dronelor din sectorul militar în sectorul civil, și-au găsit o aplicație clar și în domeniul agriculturii.
In the process of using the drones not only with military purposes but also in the civil purposes, also the drones have found an application also in agriculture.
Despre greutatea problemei de control a plantațiilor agricole în prezent, nimeni nu se îndoiește. Astfel de defecte în timpul pandemiei, cum ar fi pietele goale, pierdere recolte după secere sau inundații și alți factori necesită monitorizarea operațională.
So it's actually the need of controlling the crops, and actually we need to control different flows within the planting, like empty spots, losing the crops after a long period of not having water, or droughts, yes, and other factors that really they require to be monitorized. Due to the fact that we have big surfaces, we cannot do this very accurately. This is why, in order to speed up the process, we need to use the drones photographing aerial photos using the drones.
Rolul tehnologiei moderne în sectorul agricol este foarte important, care consideră unor lucrare sau aparate noi, pot contribui la creșterea pieței agricole.
Hence the role of the modern technologies and using new equipments and technologies, this can increase the productivity in the agriculture.
Principalele direcții ale utilizării fluente a tehnologiei WAP.
So these are the main guidelines where we can use this technology.
Monitoringul culturilor.
To monitor the crops.
Monitoringul dinamicii plantării culturilor, analiza dinamicii de germinare a culturilor, determinarea timpului de recoltare.
So we can monitor the dynamic of planting the crops. We can use also to do an analysis of the dynamics of germinating the crops and determine the time when we need to collect the crop.
Analiza terenului și a solului.
Also, we can do the analysis of the soil.
Modelare 3D a climatelor, solurilor.
3D modulation, soils, and spectral analysis for planning.
Evaluarea sănătății, monitorizarea infectării plantelor cu paraziți și bacterii.
Also, we can assess the health of the crop. We can monitor the infection of plants with infestation, yes, with parasites and bacteria when we need to irrigate.
Direcțiile de perspectivă de utilizare a tehnologiei WAP.
So the trends.
Simularea creșterii răsadurilor.
To simulate the growing of the baby plants.
Gestionarea recoltelor în timp real, controlul înțelepțării, a îngrășămintelor, a echilibrării și altor parametri în timp real, în funcție de dinamica actuală a creșterii culturii.
And also managing the crop in real time where we need to control the planting or the fertilizers, the irrigation and other parameters in real time.
În cazul dat avem date câteva exemple două exemple de drone. Drone sunt de două tipuri. Sunt de tip copter, tip aripă fixă. În dependență de suprafața care noi o avem, alegem tipul de drone.
These are two examples of the drone used in agriculture. There are two types. One is the copter type and the second one is with airplane. Yes, and depending on the goal that we need, we are selecting the one that we are going to use. So here are the possibilities of using this technology to prepare digital maps of the soils, to do an inventory of the agricultural land, to assess the volume of the works and of their execution, operational monitoring of the status of the crop, determining of okay. I'm not familiar with this type of English, so yeah. Okay, so determining the level of azote from the soil and from the vegetal tissue of the plant, to assess the nitrogen, to do a forecast of the crop, of the agricultural crop, to verify the quality of the, I don't know how to say this actually, when you dig the land, how, if you did it correctly or not. I don't know. And also the evidence of the ecological monitoring of the agricultural land.
Rezultatul lucrărilor efectuate cu drona sunt cărți de diferite tipuri. Cărțile pot fi efectuate de la diferite înălțimi.
So these are some results of the digital map. This can be done from different heights.
În cazul dat avem o fotografie a unui teren la o înălțime de 150 de metri.
Here we have a photo made by a drone from 150 meters. In order to determine the real borders of the land.
Ce ne permite să determinăm cu precizie suprafețele reale care pot să fie variate de la documentația cadastral.
So this is in order to be able to identify the real border, because they can be different due on the cadastral papers. So.
Digitalization perhaps.
Yes, yes.
Determinarea suprafețelor reale însemnate.
We can also determine with exactity more accurately the sound or the seeded surfaces. Plots.
Rezultatul lucrărilor efectuate cu drone permite să creăm modelul digital al terenului.
These results allow us to prepare a digital model of the soil, the land.
Sunt date juste pentru planificarea lucrărilor de prelucrarea solului.
In order to better plan the works, in order to prepare the land for the next agricultural worker.
Pentru a evita în primăvară,
in order to avoid in the spring to create some holes in the land.
produsele de apă, și sunt toate referare la timpul prelucrării solului.
And we can also determine where there are some water leaks.
Ilustrările terenurilor agricole. Totodată, datele capătate de pe o dronă pot fi aplicate la determinarea cantității produselor.
Okay, the data that we collected from a drone, they can also help us to do a forecast of the agricultural products that we can obtain from a surface of land.
Totodată putem determina starea calității culturilor.
We can also determine the status of the quality of the crop.
Cum vedeți, avem cazul în care putem vizualiza aceste elemente. În cazul de față, aplicarea doar putem să în cazul dată putem să vizualizăm o prezentare cum este utilizată drona în domeniul protecției plantelor.
In this case, he wanted to show us a video how a drone can be used in order to protect plants, the health of the plants. Poate trebuie să-l conectați înainte la internet. Da, nu știu.
Mai nou la Focus este un produs al comunității noastre din Moldova, la companie CDSI.
It's a product of a deci un produs al
companiei CDSI.
A product of a company CDSI, Center Drone
din Paris.
From Paris.
Este președinte, este fronteană noastră, doamna Maria Găprea.
And the president of this company is somebody who is from Moldova, Maria Gaprian.
Personal am trecut în cadrul proiectului, noi am vizitat companii.
And he personally visited in last year on a project. They visited her company.
Una din posibilitățile noi care și cei debate date la ziua de azi în agricultură este indicele Ndvi.
One of the most important index that is used today in agriculture is the Ndvi Index.
Datele de pe drone, desigur, drona trebuie să fie echipată cu o cameră specială, nu o cameră standard.
In this case, the drone should be equipped with a special camera.
Cameră cu indicare pentru care ne ajută să determinăm starea culturii.
In order to help us identify the health status, I think, of the crop.
În cazul de față avem unii care este cu culoare verde, avem culturi sănătoase.
So where there is the green part, there are healthy crops.
Galben sunt puțin afectate, roșii sunt afectate.
So the yellow are slightly affected crop, and with red there are quite affected crop. So.
După rezultatele măsurătorilor efectuate cu drona, filmării, fotografierii efectuate cu drona, ne dau un șir de hărți care sunt foarte utile pentru producătorii agricoli.
So all this data and digital maps that we can obtain using the data collected from the drones, they can prepare this kind of maps and data that are very useful to the agriculture, to the farmer, to the producers.
După scala care o avem reprezentată mai jos, putem determina calitatea germinării culturilor.
Here we can assess the quality of germination of cultures, crops.
Putem face unele prognoze.
We can do some forecasts of the quantity of the crops, agricultural crop.
Calitatea, după cum am zis înainte, calitatea arături din creatul, deoarece nu putem parcurge tot câmpul, putem să vedem calitatea arăturii.
We can also verify the quality of the plowing.
Și evidența monitorului ecologic al terenurilor agricole, identificarea gunoiurilor neautorizate.
Okay, so we can also provide an ecological monitoring of the agricultural land, like identifying unauthorized deposits of waste and garbage. Yeah, on the fields. This was the presentation. Thank you.
Dacă vorbim de tip avion, pentru care vă permite și la
The height like 800 meters.
Da. Copterul, pentru că după mărimea durată de zbor, în diferite preferințe,
Okay. Valer, thank you a lot for a great presentation. I want to announce around 20 minutes coffee break.
Downstairs.
Yes, downstairs at the first floor. So at 11:50 you should be here. Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We are ready to begin. Yes, to listen Emil regarding the methodology of the entrepreneurial discovery process. Emil, please.
Hello everybody, my name is Emil Stanev and I represent my organization, Business Support Center for Small and Medium Enterprises, Russia, Bulgaria, that is a partner implementing this project. Already you were acquainted with the smart specialization strategy. I just will mention a few of the main principles that are the pillar stones of this strategy. The smart specialization strategy is a place-based approach. The other principle is make choices for investment. Only a limited number of investment opportunities should be considered as most appropriate for the region, for the socio-economic potentials of the region or the nation that is implemented. And the other principle is setting priorities, an inclusive process which we'll try to implement in a few minutes. That is the stakeholders' involvement, and it is built on the principle of entrepreneurial discovery process. Also, realizing the smart specialization, innovation should be considered in a more broader view of in a broader view. And the last principle smart specialization must include a sound monitoring and evaluation system, and even a mechanism for upgrading and updating should be developed. I would like to draw attention to the term innovation. There are maybe more than a dozen definitions of this term, and what I came across and I like most is this one. Innovation is the process of creating value by applying novel solutions to meaningful problems. On the scheme, on the figure, you can see if there are three main tests that should pass the innovation. These solutions, after completing the process, should give some value. Fact for implementing a new idea. I just want to ask you a question. You know this one of the biggest four audited companies, Ernst & Young, and probably also Carrefour. Do you see any similar? What is similar between them, or something in common? Could you find something in common? I can answer this question in this way. They use one invention, they developed this invention to innovation, and this invention was based on synergies of cryptography, Internet of Things, Internet, and big data. So, to look at, because we are running out of time, I'll briefly describe what is the application of Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young developed application based on this so-called distributed ledger technology, or as was said previously, blockchain system, because it was approached by a very famous Italian producer of wine. By the way, according to some researchers, for the year 2017, only the Italian wine sellers, merchants, have lost more than 2 billion euros of income, revenue, because of fake labels. And this is a solving of some of this problem. Levis, this company, Italian wine producer, who, by the way, is selling a middle and high level, high value wines only to North America and the Chinese market. The application of Ernst & Young offered them a smart label. This smart label, we can say, is like a DNA of a bottle of wine. The data that is collected encompasses all the process. Some of the data is manually input, some of the data is input automatically through drones, Internet of Things, and it includes from the gathering of the wine, the place where the grape is grown, the movement to the winery, the eventual addition to some additives like phosphate, and the barrel, and so on, so bottling. And I think it was if someone is interested in can find on page 19 of the annual report of Ernst & Young brief information about this project that is fulfilled. The Carrefour is a different thing. They implement similar technology developed by IBM, and they started tracing first dairy products, milk products, but only they're tracing and giving information to the customers only for their own brand products.
Yes, in English, please.
Professor should put you from the university. Private company or private company should put me from entrepreneur.
We can start. I would propose the way how we do that, and then let's collect the input from you until the lunch, and then after the lunch, in that case we will stay here and we separate into smaller groups where we work on project ideas. So I would like you, for each of the members, to just shortly present himself, very briefly, so the name and surname, and from which country, from which company or organization you are coming, and also shortly introducing the problems and challenges or problems and solutions that will be seen there, and also you probably describe the project idea as an initial idea, so we will take this as an input for ranking and then focusing on 3 to 4 stories, 3 to 4 potential ideas. So let us start in this order, but let's do it short really so that we do the order to present
Okay, thank you very much, Daniel. I'm Jasminka Kramer, financial manager from EcoSustav Ltd, Vukovar Extreme County from Croatia. That's all.
And the problems and solutions, if you have some, on stickies?
On stickies, yes, I have a cyber security and digitalization business. Yes.
Okay, next one.
My name is Gabriel Sandulake. represent Technical University Gheorghe Asache of Iași, Romania. Problems dominated production, agriculture and forest because boli vegetale, deci boli și dăunători, nu știu, insects and solution use drone from evidence insects and vegetation and determinated de vegetație, vegetation index Ndvi.
So using drones in determining the problem
in Romanian language.
No problem. No problem. Thanks. Next one.
Yes.
Mulțumesc, Valerie Zini. Tematic de utilizarea aplicarea dronelor în sectorul agricol și forestier. Probleme. Utilizarea nerațională și ineficientă a resurselor naturale. Soluții, determinarea calității culturilor agricole și forestiere în vederea luării de decizii corecte și argumentate.
My name is Svetoslav Postoronka. I have recently transferred my job to the agency, National Agency of for the Research and Development. I worked for many years in the Institute of the Power Engineering as a researcher and science secretary, and I have specialized in the field of power engineering, but I have an idea for the agricultural sector because we faced last years with the problem of not assimilation or not uptake for the market from the market our agricultural products, and I have to propose an idea to elaborate or to develop a cloud of data collected with the help of drones, and to analyze, to make analyzing, and to draw proposals for the exit to the market, internal or external. Thank you.
My name is Azra Begovic. I'm coming from Development Agency NERDA, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Financial Manager. And I'm sorry, but I then don't have problems and solutions as I'm not very familiar with the problems in agriculture in Moldova. No, there are problems, but and then I noticed that I wrote the problem and solution part for group 2 instead of group 1. So sorry. So with my friend Google, after short consultation about agricultural problem in Moldova, I noticed that the climate changes are a problem for agriculture in Moldova, and the solution will be introducing new technologies in the production of crops or some new sorts that are resistant to climate changes.
Hello everyone, my name is Ursaki Tudor and I'm an entrepreneur and I represent the company Xabit. So from the problems that I identify is small business problem access to the market, to the agro market. One of them like cost of certification and other different barriers for their production and their selling. Thanks.
Colleagues from the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. So we had a few problems that we suppose that are problems in Moldova. A lack of financing. So lack of financing, the solution would be state programs. Then non-existent management system. So solutions for this is educations. Then technology is on low level, I suppose, and then solution is inclusion of new technology and innovations. Then non-inclusion of agro-clusters in the process. Then the solution is inclusion of and forming of clusters or hubs. The last problems is non-connection of innovations and agro sector. So solution for this is also education.
So a lot of problems and a lot of solutions. And you just need to think of it.
Yes, for 3 persons.
Perfect. So I will put here, here. Next.
My name is Martin Dan and she is my colleague Renata. We are coming from Hungary, Panama Business Network Organization. In our organization, a digital innovation hub was established 2 years ago, but not in agriculture, in the technical field. And we supposed some problems. For example, the stakeholders and the relevant actors might not be collaborative enough in Moldova. And the actors are not competent enough to utilize digitalization in the agriculture field. And regarding a technical field, the data analysis might not be appropriate enough. So this might be developed. And of course, regular workshops have to be organized between the stakeholders in order to utilize the collaboration between them. And yes, this is it.
Hello, my name is Maja Sušek. I come from University of Maribor, Slovenia. I identified problems that are very common probably in every European country, not just Moldova, which are lack of skills, so lack of knowledge on digital innovation hubs. My solution is to create a project that would address this lack of skills and prepare some kind of specific trainings, maybe with certification, so that we can ensure that the digital innovation hub operators in Germany have the same set of skills like digital operation hub operators in other countries. And of course there are a lot of questions on how to create a self-sustainable digital innovation hub. So I think a problem is also how to provide a correct mapping of services that clients are willing to pay for. So my project would be very much strategic or interact oriented. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna Gulko. Today me and my colleague represent a private sector, private consultancy company, BDC, Business Development Capital, which helps young entrepreneurs, local small and medium enterprises in their growing. About problems and solutions we identified, I let my colleague to say something.
Hello everybody, my name is Tatiana Arkan. And I continue with the problems we identify in them. We work a lot with the small and medium enterprises, and we identify that at the process of production they have old and inefficient process and production. If they can specialize in productions and work more efficient, they can let commerciant to realize their goods on the market.
Originally, a clearing house for the peatland, wetland management and special agriculture, and a second idea is introduction for the digital wealth station, like your ideas. But the main idea is that the problem is a peatland management creation in a structure of and a clustering, and the solution they used soft for drones for the wetland management in the Danube region. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alena Onofrei. I'm from the Ministry of Education, Culture and Research. I'm not from this field, but my father-in-law is a farmer and he works in this field. That's why I know the problems that he's confronting with. For example, the quality of soil in the Republic of Moldova is a real problem. For example, my father-in-law, when brings some fertilizer for the soil, he said, 5 liters. No, I'll put 5.5 to be sure of it. That's why the quality of soil is a very bad one. We have a lot of studies, and I know the institutes that are working with these studies, but they are not public ones. That's why I think a platform, a general platform for the, I don't know, to inform the population in special farmer with the quality of soil. For example, maybe a call center where the farmer could call to ask how many pesticides they can put and so on, because our products, final products, it's not a competitive one, because it has a lot of, I don't know, pesticide or something like this in it. That's why I think the problem is, first of all, a good problem. It's a large number of studies in this field. The bad one, it's no data platform where the farmer can just apply and to be sure how many percent of the pesticide or fertilizers they can put in. And the solution, I think, it's creating a public data platform, training operators and, for example, to make a right decision, and maybe robotization of agriculture. It's connected with it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andrei Radul, and I'm here to speak about Gustos 5 project, which aims to create for Black Sea region an investment and trading platform for fine wines at early stage of the production. The biggest challenge is the lack of such practice in Black Sea region at all, and the traditional problems of the fine wine investment market, like traceability, counterfeit, poor or impartial information about wine quality and potential, and the long commercial chain when a lot of intermediaries add the charge for their services along the value chain. So what we are trying to do is create such a practice, such a platform for wineries to sell their wine at early stage of production when it's still in barrel and when it has to stay like a few years before it enters the market actually. And we are creating an online D2C platform for such sales. And of course, for traceability, we have tokenization of each bottle and complete traceability of each of them, and regular events for evaluation of wine quality and aging, and thus investment potential of wines for Black Sea region.
Hi, my name is Vadim Yaskevich. I'm from the National Agency for Research and Development. I'm here today with some of our residents, and Mr. Andrei has presented his project now, and another two residents are Mr. Nikolai and Miss Angela, who are Mr. Nikolai is producing products from lavanda, and his challenge is to install a production line. Miss Angela is producing products without gluten, and her challenge is also to install a production line. Both of them applied for research cooperation with institutes and universities to resolve the technological and research problem they have. And from another side, they applied for a state grant for research and innovation project to resolve the solution with funds to buy equipment and to implement the project. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, this is all. Thanks a lot. You? My name is Andrew Zopot. I'm coming from ITC Cluster. I have a problem with fraud in short supply chains, and the solution is blockchain and certification. So this. I'm still missing the notes stickies from you. Stickies. This is a. You didn't write. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Do you have? Yes, in this project. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, let me resume. I try to capture the problems and solutions. Probably we will need to stick to or combine some of the topics. So we have been pointing out several, ranging from cybersecurity problem and solving this with digital skills and support in this direction. Then we have forest here, disease identification or problem identification. The drones could be a possible solution. Of course, it's if we would say drones, it's basically Earth observation. Sometimes we combine drones with satellite data, Copernicus, and so on. So it can be done also in different ways. Then I was not able to capture this because it's in Romanian and I didn't have time to.
It was containing the misused soil quality.
Soil quality, okay. And the solution?
No.
Solution will be Earth observation, drones. Okay, it's technical again. Then we have a challenge in market uptake. And again, big data and drones. So I can believe that if you want to how do you connect? So how do you connect the market uptake? So agricultural products and combining the, let's say, I would say, developing sales channels and the big data and drones.
Suggest with a couple of drones to make a data acquisition on the land and to have a stock of the data and to prepare us to speak with the market representative to access the market. Because from the experience of last years, we have but have not enough quantities of tomatoes. So we have to learn something.
Okay. That would be
in this chain. We have to coordinate measures and to quantify our activities.
I understand. Production capacity is market uptake. Okay. Next, market uptake again. I didn't catch the solution there, but I will do that. Lack of financing. I somehow spotted also this problem, lack of financial support. Then I'm loud, right? Lack of financial support. So this means develop support instruments. It can be financial instruments. It can be business support instruments. So in this direction. Then lack of clusters, innovation, so clustering, really
Daniel, I want just to remark about market update. The second one, the solution was platform agro-trade. Agro-trade platform.
So it's a platform.
It's a web platform, exactly.
Lack of financing, so develop support instruments. So lack of clusters, lack of clusters, innovation, support to clusters. So obviously there is a need to have these representatives who are basically working with target groups in order to endorse innovation. I didn't get the sticky was on you, so this was here as well. Because I provided two descriptions for one. Then I will look into that. I didn't have time. This is yours. And then again, lack of skills, knowledge. The proposal is training schemes mapping, then use of IT technologies and systems and efficient production. There is a lack of technologies applied, obviously, which would increase the efficiency of the production. So implementing digital technologies, like a general, we have many areas of possible implementation. So in fostering the use of digital technologies and implementing them. Then drafts, water management, and develop I wrote digital, you said the hub, in order to get knowledge in one place and technologies. Then again, using drones for, I didn't catch this from Oleg, what was the problem, but I instituted. Then quality of soil, platform support, info services training, so to be able to catch the information about the quality of soil. Again, platform support in a wider sense. This can be earth observation, this can be drones, this can be data, big data, providing this data and services in order to be able to decide to have information to support how you treat soil. Traceability and quality in wine production, and wine training and traceability platform based on technologies available. And then upgrading, installing production lines, because I captured those as similar problems. So upgrading production lines or even installing production lines for a certain production through business financial support schemes again, because that was common to both types of production, which is just another product. And then fraud in supply chain, blockchain, and certification, which I wrote. So this is what we captured. Now I give the word to you.
Okay, I think we should right now focus on Moldovan ideas and let's say solutions to the problems. And I advise all the partners which are here and of course work together with Moldovan enterprises and ideas to vote the main important three ideas in order to, 3 or 4 let's say, in order to include them in the local action plans and strategies.
say. So we do that now or later because we want to. I would propose you to summarize and come up with that because there are some different similar topics. Like you know, then you can easily determine. I mean, you can provide 6 or 7 topics, problems and solutions, and then you can make a vote because it's difficult now to vote on one TV capture.
Okay, then we make a small break. We are going to lunch. We are a bit late with 20 minutes, and after lunch we are coming back. Okay? You probably are hungry and it's natural. Yeah.